Hey everyone, welcome in to another episode of what would normally be Sports Night, but not tonight. Tonight, the force is strong with us, and we are talking about Star Wars Episode 9 and the teaser trailer that dropped yesterday during Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. Now, I'm Walt from Mouse Talk. Welcome back. And of course, as always, I have my partner channel, Steve, here. Steve, welcome in, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad we're going to be talking about this tonight. I'm glad we also have different opinions on it too. So
yeah, we do, but don't.
Yes.
I'll say that. Real fast, just to plug a few things. I want to say hi to, well, you know what? Let's say hi to some folks in the chat because we got a ton of people in here already. Let me say hi to Brian. Welcome in, Brian. Good to see you. Kay Atwood, Amanda from the Lucky Minute. More sunshine, please. Welcome in. Jeff Dolwood, Dad. Welcome in. Explosive Phoenix. How you doing? Everybody, thank you for being here. We definitely appreciate it. And we're going to have a good time tonight. I think we got a lot to talk about, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Steve, real fast before we even get started, I know a lot of folks know, but for anybody that might be watching the replay, tell them a little bit about your channel. Let's plug it real fast.
Okay, yeah, we go live every Monday night. Something new for me. We just started streaming about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Very family-friendly oriented, and we like to talk a lot about Disney as well as sports, some other things. One thing I do have coming up though, Walt, is we did hit 500 subs. I will be doing a 500 sub giveaway this week.
Yay.
So thank you. And went to the Disney store to get some things yesterday. Or today, I mean, so we got a pretty nice giveaway, I think. So I'm pretty excited about it. Watch out for that video coming up this week.
Nice. Welcome in, Chris, Disney World Adventures. He was just on with Meg. Hopefully a lot of you are coming over from Meg's stream. She was talking Disney streaming and some trailers as well. They didn't really get into the whole Star Wars. We appreciate that, Meg, so that we can talk about it, because we are going to talk about this teaser trailer. For us, we go live here at Mouse Talk. We go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and of course on Saturdays. Steve and I normally will do Sports Night, but this was just kind of a big event we had to do. Tuesdays is 8 p.m. It's just Mouse Madness. It's just me, different pop culture things we'll talk about. Lots of Disney, but other stuff too. And of course on Thursdays, Melissa and I do Disney Talk. So we definitely appreciate you all being here. I don't know if anybody else new came in, not yet, but let's get started, Steve. Of course, the trailer dropped yesterday during Star Wars Celebration, and I think we expected it to drop, something to drop yesterday, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. You can't have that big of an event and not have something as, I mean, the trailer was the least they could do.
Right, yeah, I agree. So I think we were definitely expecting it. What I wasn't expecting is what happened at the end, and we'll get into that in just in a little while.
Yep.
But yep, they dropped the trailer, of course, and we saw it yesterday. I saw it first, not yesterday, but the day it dropped. And what was your reaction to the trailer when you first saw it for the first time?
So when I first saw it, again, I've been a fan of all of them so far. I've really enjoyed it. I love the way it opened. Number one, I love the fact that well, we'll get into the details in a minute, but just as an overall reaction, this might be the one I've been more excited for this trailer than any other trailer I think I've seen so far. Now, I wasn't around for the originals, some of the originals, but this is definitely by far the one I anticipate the most.
Okay, gotcha. I want to say hi to Zippity Doodad, who just came in, and Brandy and Dave are here too. Welcome in, everybody. We definitely appreciate you being here. We got 12 in there right now. Hopefully we'll get some more, and we appreciate everybody for being here. I saw it while I was at work. So
so did I.
Yep. Yeah, saw it at work, but I took a few minutes, went outside because I wanted to hear it, because I couldn't see it at my desk and listen to the sound, be upsetting people. So I went outside. It's a teaser, so it's not really a trailer, so I can't compare it to trailers. It's a teaser.
Yep.
But for teasers itself, it's one of the better ones that I've ever seen. For me, it was an emotional teaser. It had a lot of callbacks to the originals from the 70s and 80s, which was very near and dear to my heart, which I'm sure we've talked about in the past. So for me, it was an emotional one. I'll be honest with you, I had tears in my eyes on certain parts of it. Han Solo was my original favorite character in all of the Star Wars. As time has gone on, Luke Skywalker has become that for me. So this trailer really had a lot of emotion, and I think he wanted that. I think that was what this trailer was about. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think this is going to be good or bad. I think this is going to be the most emotional of the entire of let's just call it the 9 of them, the main ones. I think that the music really of the teaser trailer, the music in the teaser trailer really heightened to what we can expect. There's going to be intense battles. There's going to be beautiful scenery. It's going to be a good one, I think.
I agree. I want to say hi to, of course, Miguel's in here from Disney Life for Me. Welcome in, Miguel. And Bax is here from the Jedi Balloon Master. Thank you for being here, both of you. Miguel, we appreciate you being here, buddy. You need to learn something about Star Wars today. He said he knows nothing about it. Well, I definitely recommend you go watch them at least once. Definitely watch them. But yeah, I agree. I think the whole point of that teaser was to obviously get you excited. But I think it was a callback for those from the originals. For us, I think I'll be honest with you, I think this was a trailer for the older folks. I could be wrong, but I really do. There was a lot of callbacks to the original trilogy in this trailer, of which we're going to get into in a little bit. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was emotional, and I really did like it overall. That was my reaction to it. It was emotional, but I liked it. Now, as for the trailer itself, let's get into it. Let's get on into thoughts of it, and we can kind of break it down if you want, step by step. What I liked about the first scene we see is we hear her breathing, and then all of a sudden, to flash to her in the sands, out in the kind of like the open desert area, which is a callback to the first teaser for Force Awakens. Because when we saw Finn, he pops up into the screen, breathing heavy, out in the sands. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, when I heard you actually hit a breathing before you even see anything from the trailer at all. So my first thoughts are, first off, who's breathing? You always want to know. And then when you see her standing there and then it pans out, you actually see what's going on. It does remind you of how Finn, again, same thing with me. It reminded me of the original one with Finn, the original of the third trilogy, I guess I should say. But no, it looks to be a defining moment in her progression, her character progression, let's say. And you want to talk about the whole scene in general?
We will. Yep. No, I just want to kind of start there. But yeah, you're right. We can get into the scene. Well, let me say hi to Meg real fast. Welcome in, Meg. Of course, Meg just finished up with Disney Fiasco for Dan, who's on vacation. Meg did a great job. She had some wonderful guests with her tonight. But we had a great time over there, Meg. So thank you for joining us. I hope everybody was able to see that. If you haven't, go back and watch that stream. I think we had a good time. And we touched on a lot of topics, and there was some good information, I think, that was included in that stream. So please check it out. If somebody could put Meg's link in there for that stream, I'd appreciate it. Mods, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, as you're right, Steve. As we get into that actual scene and see the reason why she's there and what's coming for her, it's pretty it's intense. It's an intense scene. When you see this TIE fighter heading right for her, and she's what looks at first like she's trying to outrun it. But as we see, as the scene goes on, that's not it at all. I think personally she was baiting the ship. Yeah. That's how I'm seeing that scene. But that's a pretty incredible scene with the Jedi move. And I don't want to spoil it. I think everybody has seen it at this point. But the Jedi move that she makes, what do you think about that part of it?
Oh, that's where I'm talking about. I think it's going to be a defining moment in her progression, because clearly, which we'll get into some of the other stuff later, but clearly this is focusing on Rey. I mean, she is the person, unless they throw a curveball at us, she is the person that this whole thing surrounds. She's going to be more powerful than Luke Skywalker. She's going to be more powerful than them all. And with what she does when she's running and then jumps to do the Jedi move, the backflip over him, that's when I was talking about the music really gets into it right there. It's just really incredible. I was one of the best one of the best opening parts to a trailer or a teaser trailer that I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say hi to Disney Nerd Herders who just came in. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. And when we get into the end and thoughts and theories of what's going to happen after the trailer of the movie and things like that, we can give our synopsis of the movies in general and where we've gone, where we've come from, and where we're going moving forward, because I have very strong thoughts on this whole thing. Okay. But after we see that scene in this sandy planet, which I don't know if that's Jakku, where she's from originally, or if that's Tatooine. I don't know, but it's probably one of those two. We then move on to some real fast cut scenes. We see a planet with a lot of lights and a ship that we've never seen before. At least I can't recognize this ship going into this where it's raining. We see that scene. And then we finally see a scene of an oldie but a goodie.
Yes.
Where we see the Millennium Falcon in hyperspace, and it's being piloted by none other than Lando Calrissian.
Yeah,
which I was really glad.
Lando Calrissian.
The Lando Calrissian. Yes. What did your thoughts on those?
Oh, that made me smile a lot. Again, I've said it before, and I think I even said it earlier tonight. I am a huge fan of when they take original characters years down the road and bring them back as the same character. So when I saw him playing him, I was really excited to play it. And one thing we kind of skipped over just briefly, between that scene and the scene with Rey, there is a line that pops up. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, right. Yeah. Right. Every generation has a legend.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that is where I was going with the character progression with Rey, by the way. So
okay. All right.
We get into that later. I don't want to forget about that point. So
yep. No, you're right. It's important. And you're right. I remiss to say we should have talked about that. Absolutely. More Sunshine, please, says real fast. He says in the chat, and I think he's being serious. I know he's being serious. He says he thinks that Rey's hopping on it for a ride, and he thinks Poe's piloting it, and she's just jumping on it for a ride. Could be. It's coming at her really darn fast. I would have thought he would have slowed down a little bit, but who knows? Definitely could be. Definitely could be. Oh, Miguel, thank you for that. You didn't have to do that at all, but thank you. Everybody, please thank Miguel and Dee from A Disney Life for Me. They just gave us a super chat. That's very generous, guys. You didn't have to do that, but thank you very much. That's very generous. Thank you, guys. You definitely rock. Amanda's right, and we appreciate that. But I like that part of the scene. It's great to see Lando again piloting his ship, his original ship, before it got taken from him. Yeah. Or swindled from him, as we'll say. But yeah, I agree. I love the scene. It's really, really neat, and it's a great part of it. And then from there, if I'm not mistaken, we go into a couple more cut scenes where we see Poe and Finn and C-3PO on a ship being chased and fired at, which I thought was really cool. Anything else I missed?
I know just a few cut scenes where we see different people coming back, like Finn and those guys. Just a few. They're nothing in particular.
Gotcha. Cyborg Man, welcome in. Good to see you. He's right. He says he thinks Kylo's in the TIE fighter. Could very well be. And the gloves do match Kylo. That's a good point. You're right. I will say this. I like the scene where they show Kylo Ren fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he takes the person and almost does almost like a choke slam on him. Mm-hmm. But who is he fighting there? A lot of folks think it's the Knights of Ren, but they didn't seem like they were dressed like the Knights of Ren. So what are your thoughts on that part of it?
Well, I think it's going to wind up being, this is part of what I think the movies are going to go to. If this is truly coming to an end, I think it's going to wrap up with Kylo turning. That's my own opinion. I actually think he's fighting the guys, somebody to whatever extent, whoever they are, on the dark side as opposed to the light side.
Okay.
I don't really have a theory right now of who that is, but I think Kylo is going to turn.
Okay. All right. And for me, and I'm going to get into that. We can get into that at the end, talking about theories, because I have my own theory on that of what I'm hoping happens. Okay. Cyborg Man also says he thinks that's a flashback of those guys, the Knights of Ren and Kylo, killing other people. That could be too. That makes sense. Yep, very well could be. But if I'm not mistaken, if he's with the Knights of Ren at that time, he's not yet with the First Order, correct? So if you notice in the background, you see some First Order guys shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We're not sure there. And of course, the one thing we haven't really talked about is the entire time you have this overview of Luke Skywalker talking to who we think he's talking to Ren. You know, he talks about, it's 1,000 years have come down to you. This is your fight now. We've taught you everything we know. That was big for me. That was part of the emotional part for me. Is first off, we know that now. I'm hoping this confirms he's going to be in the movie.
Yes.
And it's in some way. And when we get to theories at the end, we can get into all of that. Again, Luke Skywalker's my favorite. I've always told you, and I tell everybody, I love the good guys. I just do. I love the good guys. We have enough bad guys in real life. I go to the movies to see the good guys win, not lose. I like that part of it. But it's nice to have that overtone of him giving it, and it meets it's important to this teaser. What do you think about having Luke be the narrator of shorts with this?
Yeah. So, and again, without getting too far into it right now, but I think Luke is going to play the part of the absent Jedi, basically, where his presence is always there, but he's not a physical being anymore there. Okay. I think he's going to play her mentor, her guide. He's gonna guide her through her journey, but not kind of like the way Yoda did and Obi-Wan did.
You think he's a Force ghost?
I think he's a Force ghost. Yes, that's
fine. No. I mean that you can't not say it. That's fine, and that's what we've had those. We've had them in the movies. Obi-Wan was, Yoda was. Qui-Gon was, even though we didn't see it. They talked about Qui-Gon being one in Revenge of the Sith. So I totally get it, and that's fine. And if that's how they're going to bring him back, that's fine. But I love the fact that they have him basically talking to, I'm assuming he's talking to Rey. We don't know who he's talking to, but that has to be the assumption. But then we move on, and we see some more scenes. And then, of course, the last scene, he says, we'll always be with you. As they go over this, you see all of them going down kind of like this hillside. And Luke says, well, before he even says anything, it says the saga will come to an end.
Yep.
So he's saying it right now. This is going to end the story. This is going to end the saga. So we know it's going to end somehow. There'll be no continuation of this saga. And then Luke says, of course, we'll always be with you. And then he says, no one's ever really gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts. And then we get the laugh.
Yes.
And then we get the scene that comes up and it says Star Wars. And then it says the rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
And, of course, that's the biggest scene for me. It's both exciting, surprising, and emotional. I kind of got all of them with that one scene. What are your thoughts on that part of it?
So, well, obviously, we all have our theories, and this is where we have to start getting into them a little bit with this part. But
yep.
I think I agree with I think what a lot of people think. I think it's Emperor Palpatine coming back. I think that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this movie. Because even though Darth Vader was the ultimate bad guy, in this universe, Emperor Palpatine is probably the highest bad guy easily. So he made Darth Vader.
Yes.
So you can't have the saga come to an end and can truly equal out the balance of good light versus dark without bringing back the bad guy. And like they said, nobody's ever truly gone. So between that and then the title itself is a mystery, could go one of two ways. One way is obviously this will focus back on Luke in some way. The other way will obviously answer maybe some questions about who Rey truly is and whether or not she is a Skywalker.
Okay.
So it's leaving it open-ended. We'll get into that discussion when we get to theories.
Yep, absolutely. First off, let me say hi to D. Hazel. D, welcome in. I know it's late for you. We appreciate you being here. Hope you're doing well. No, it doesn't. Zippity do that says it doesn't say the rise of Luke Skywalker. Could they be talking about Rey? They could be. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about here in theories in just a second. Brandy and Dave says no continuation until they shoot Spaceballs 2. The search for more money. I agree. I wholeheartedly expect them to make that movie. The only problem is John Candy's no longer with us, so he can't play Barf. Which is too bad because he was awesome in that. But okay, so my theory on the end. Okay, it's definitely the Emperor. There's no doubt. Because if you watched the Star Wars Celebration at the end of the trailer, did you see who walked out on stage?
Yep.
Ian McDermott walked out on stage. He's in the movie.
Yep.
It's him. There's no doubt it's him.
It's gotta be.
It's got to be. I mean, now whether or not it's him or it's I don't know how they're going to do this, but I agree with you that he has to. At this point, I'm excited that he's in it because you're right. There's never been a bad guy, period, than the Emperor. He is a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate power. He doesn't care about anybody but him. I love that. Now, the Rise of Skywalker, what does that mean? I don't know. Is Rey a Skywalker? Could she be? That's fine. Who's her parents? I can't see it being Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I'm sorry.
But
we never, ever had any inkling of him with anybody, period.
But there are also other Skywalkers, too. It doesn't have to be a direct. It doesn't have to be a direct. It does not have to be a direct child, but Leia was a Skywalker,
right?
And
but there's no. But I guess I get what you're saying. But how do you go that route? Because there was never any inclination of twins in these movies. I don't see that would be. I hate to say this, but that would be a cop out if they're going that route.
Well, at the same time, though, in the originals, there was no inkling that Luke and Leia were brother and sister either, until it came about.
True, that's true.
I mean, there's a hidden story here, I believe, and I mean, I can see numerous possibilities for how it works itself in, and it may not even be anything about Rey being a Skywalker.
Right?
Maybe she changes her name because of her mentor is Luke now, and she becomes under him it takes the namesake. It could be a whole lot of different things without her actually being a true born child of Luke.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I will say this. We talked about no inkling of a sibling possibly. I will say this. If you remember in episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, when Obi-Wan says, that boy's our last hope.
Yep.
And Yoda says, no, there is another.
Yep.
That actually is an inkling of a possible sibling to me. So they did hint at something like that within the second movie.
And could you hide that for 35, 40 years? I mean,
right. That's my point. But the 4, 5, and 6 didn't happen over 40 years. It happened over maybe a year.
I'm talking about from when the episode 5 came out in 79, something like that, to today. Over that period of time, in 40 years, could they kept that a secret? With that kind of foreshadowing, or I mean, it's really easy to go back on that movie and see that and go, "Hey, this is what we're going to do now." Because of that, we can say it tied to that, so they can tie that into there pretty easily. But it would be pretty epic if they did tie those two together.
They could, yeah, they could. I just would want. And first of all, let me say hi to John. Hey, John, welcome in, buddy. John Hazelton's in here. I know it's late for him too. We appreciate you being here, buddy. No, I'm fine with that. I just wish there would have been some kind of inkling. Don't just come and say, "Oh, and by the way, she's the twin of Kylo." FYI, that's what I don't want. I wish they would have hinted to it in some way. Just give me a hint.
And I thought, and in the last one in episode 8, I actually picked up and thought that they were brother and sister. So I mean, I don't know if anybody else did or not. I was waiting for the end of that movie to reveal that they were brother and sister, and obviously it never did.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Now, I've heard some other theories that they've talked about, and this one is actually a terrible theory, and I hope it's wrong. But there's been theories that Emperor Palpatine is the father of Anakin Skywalker, and that all of the Skywalkers after him are descendants of the Emperor. Mm-hmm. Have you heard that one?
I have.
Yep. Because if you remember, Anakin we don't really know who his father is. Okay. And
you just meet him on Tatooine.
Right. We don't really know who his father is. And so could they go that route with this? They could. You never know. That would be hard to swallow. But, we'll see. But
in the grand scheme of things, I mean, obviously, if this is truly the end, which I hope it's not, unlike a lot of people, if this is truly the end, good has to win, you would think. Okay, so if that's true, and how epic would it be if that was the storyline, that Palpatine is a Skywalker and he comes out? Obviously, we'd want the forces of good to win, but that would be an epic twist in the entire universe of Star Wars, and then trying to play that out to end it would be a pretty massive epic last movie.
Could be. Yep. I agree. I don't want the good guys. Look, again, maybe it's just me being a goody-goody. I don't know. I like the good guys winning. I'm sorry. I like happy endings. I like the guys and the girls riding off into the sunset and they live happily ever after. I just do. I don't need the bad guys winning on TV and on movies. They win all the time in real life. Unfortunately, let's have some good stuff in the movies. So I agree. It's got to end good. Let's end this on a high note. How they do it is what's going to be really interesting to me. And I like the fact that they say no one's ever really gone. Mm-hmm. That includes the bad guys.
Yep. I still go back to Darth Maul's not gone. I really, truly believe Darth Maul is not gone. I mean, we see him in another movie with metal legs. I mean, he's not gone. I completely I agree that we may have wanted to see him because he was such a great character. We wanted to see him in some of the other prequels to make him better. But I'm okay. I mean, if it bridges the gap and he winds up here somehow, or even it's, if they do more movies or prequels or whatever, nobody's truly gone. You can find a way in a theory in a universe like Star Wars to bring anybody back.
Yep, I agree. A couple things in the chat. Jeff, you're right. No Breaking Bad for me. You're right. I won't watch that show. Sorry. No, The Shield. Nope. No, not my cup of tea. Nope, not at all. But you're right. Brandon and Dave says they thought they were going to reveal the brother and sister deal with the last episode. I actually did too if they were going that route. I agree. Surprised they didn't. Pretty sure that Dumas Machina is coming in episode 9. It very well could. Disney Nerd Herder says Mace Windu is Anakin's father. It happened during the swinging days. So funny. And of course, according to Explosive Phoenix, my Darth Maul died in Rebels.
Didn't die. He fell.
He fell? I didn't see it, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't want him to be his dad either. That's what Cyborg Man says. But there are so many different theories that could go with this. And here's my whole thing. Okay? They have said, the problem I have, we can get into these movies now. I want this one to end good. These whole 9 movies have been supposedly the Skywalker saga. Okay? So for me, if they're the Skywalker saga, then the movies have to be focused on Luke and them. Rey, Finn, Poe can be secondary characters who you can build up to take over moving forward. Don't call it the Skywalker saga if they're not the primary focus. That's my problem with these 3 movies. You can't do that and call it that and not make them primary and make them supporting. That's my only problem with these movies. Now, if Rey comes to become a Skywalker, fair enough. Your thoughts?
Well, one of my thoughts is, I agree with you. This is the Skywalker saga, and in my opinion, that is the saga that's going to end. I don't think this is the end of Star Wars. I don't think it's the end of some of the most of the characters either. I think it is the end of maybe the Skywalker, like you said, Skywalker saga. I think maybe Luke does come back, becomes the all-powerful force of the Jedi that he maybe not yet has not passed Yoda and passed some of his predecessors. And then this movie with Rise of the Skywalker could be his coming to power as the all-time Jedi Master and setting balance to the Force. And then, like you said, the other characters can then move forward in the universe with a new saga, new movies, but still have the same understanding of what happened and same characters going forward. I would be okay with that. As long, and this could be, like you said, Mark Hamill, this could be it for Luke Skywalker. If he wasn't gone, this could be what they're talking about, the end of the saga, the end of Mark Hamill, the end of Luke Skywalker as a whole. And I would be sad, but I would be okay with that if that's all it was.
Yep. And Kay Atwood says Kylo is a Skywalker. He is a Skywalker.
Yep.
He's a Solo. He's a Skywalker. Absolutely. He's got Skywalker blood in him. That would have to mean he'd have to win. And Steve, your theory could be correct then. He could become a good guy, win, and he could be the rise of the new Skywalkers who build the new Jedi. The problem I have with that, been there, done that. We did that already. Darth Vader did that. He changed. He became a good guy. He overthrew the Emperor. He beat him. The good guys won. Do something different. I don't want that to happen. I actually want him to be the bad guy with the Emperor, and I'd rather Rey be a Skywalker. That's just my opinion.
I see that. I can see that. But at the same time, I don't mind when events repeat themselves as long as it's done well. So, as far as Darth Vader was concerned, he was bad. Don't get me wrong. He was horrible. But he didn't kill his father. He didn't even know who his father was. He couldn't kill his son. We don't see that with Kylo. Kylo killed his father in point blank. So I think the darkness is stirring even deeper inside Kylo. I think he has the possibility to manifest and to be the darkest of all villains of the Star Wars universe. But I think when we were talking about theories, this was going to be my final theory. I think Rise of the Skywalker is about Kylo Ren. I really do think that's the theory that I believe the most. I think it's going to be his upbringing, and I think he is more powerful than Rey. I think he's going to be more powerful than Rey for times to come, and I really do think this whole thing is going to settle on him rising to power. Whether that be for the good side or the bad side remains yet to be seen. But in my opinion, I think he's going to turn good because Rise of the Skywalker could be Kylo's rise to evil power.
Could be. It could be. But again, I can't see the bad guys winning in the end.
I can't either, but
let me just put it to you this way. If the bad guys win, you thought there was backlash on The Last Jedi? There's going to be a ton of, and me included, if this movie has it go out that way. I mean,
would you rather have something unpredictable and exciting, or would you rather have something predictable that I understand the feel good story, but again, this doesn't say this doesn't have to be the end of Star Wars, just the end of a saga, which is about Luke, maybe, right, or the sky. So right. Rise of the Skywalker could set up. This doesn't have to be the end. So even if the bad guys do win here, that doesn't mean it's the end. I mean, it's the end of a great era, but it wouldn't necessarily be the end. So they don't have to. The good guys don't have to win this one.
But see, that's where I disagree. They do have to win because it's the end of this story.
Mm-hmm.
This story. They're going to go on to other stories, but Rey, Poe, Finn, and those guys, they're not doing any more Star Wars movies after this. This is it. Their contracts are up. I think Star Wars is going in a whole different direction. No characters we've learned to grow and love. I think this is the end of this story. Period.
And it very well could be. And at the same token, look what they did with Rogue One. It was complete new cast. And in my opinion, it was great, but I know some people still harp on them. But they could go a whole different direction. I think they would be fine. But I see where you want to play. I get. We all want a good feeling at the end of when you're talking about a 40-year span of 9 incredible movies, well, somewhat incredible movies. You want to have a good ending in that kind of thing. The bad guys have won in the past. The good guys have won in the past. The prophecy is that someone will bring balance to the Force, whatever that be. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I really think it'll be I'll be happy either way. I really do think I'll be happy either way.
Right. And here's the thing. Jeff says, aren't the stories about the Force and balance? That's part of it. But the story is about the Skywalker story. The Force and the balance are included in it, and they have a big part. But the story is Skywalkers. That's what it's about. The prequels are about the Skywalkers. 4, 5, and 6 are. 7, 8, 9, they say are. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's the whole point. These 9 movie arc are about the Skywalkers and the entire story. That being said, I don't know what way they're going to go with this. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I like it. I get what you're saying. I just hope they end it. I want it to end it. I want them to go in a different direction from here. I really do. I think it would be better. I'd be more excited if we went in a different direction moving forward. What are your thoughts there?
Personally, I would be excited if this is the end of the original Billy D. Williams, Mark Hamill, obviously Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford.
It is. So for them.
Yeah. So that's the end of that saga. I'm okay if they carry on Rey, Finn, and the rest of them if they decide to rewrite stories for them, because it's like the overlapping of two different sagas, as we're calling it.
Yep.
So this saga is playing out. The old saga is playing out to bring balance to the Force, whatever you want to call it, to where they've got to train and mold the next generation of Jedi. And same thing on the rebel side or the villain side. Mm-hmm. But you got to have the light in the dark. So the original generation it would be like passing the torch to the new generation and working their way with that. That's what I hope they're going to do. I don't think that's the way they'll go, but that's what I hope they will do.
Yeah, I agree. But for me, it's exciting. This is an exciting time because what's great about this is we get to talk Star Wars again. Mm-hmm. We have theories. We don't know what's going to happen. But see, for me, you talked about, do you like predictability? And for certain things, I do. I mean, there are certain things that, you expect to happen. I expect Yoda to win. Yeah. I expect Obi-Wan Kenobi to be the good guy. I expect Luke to be the good guy. And Jeff says it in there talking about people not liking Luke going gray in the last movie. No, I don't like him going gray because I expected him to be the Luke that we know. And nothing's ever given us any other reason otherwise. And Mark Hamill himself said he didn't like the direction that Rian Johnson took the character. There's certain things you just don't do with characters. You just don't. I mean, they're built to be, and that's why they have their history and they have their character. That's who they are. That's what we've grown to love. So predictability, yes, some things I want to be predictable. You can throw in surprises here and there. I'm fine with that. That's how for me. But then again, I'm different.
Yeah. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. There's no right or wrong opinion. You can like whatever you like. I personally like unpredictability. I like to be wowed when I walk in there. There's two ways to be wowed. One is by a complete plot twist and storyline just being nothing what you expected. The other one is to be how well they did what you thought was going to happen. So either way, as long as they do either one very well, I'm going to be okay.
Okay, I get that, and that's fine. I mean, like that would be, but see, for me, Steve, it's like in the Lord of the Rings, if they made Gandalf the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. What? Yeah,
you can't do that.
I agree, but we knew where those books were going ahead of time. This is something that's open-ended that they can do whatever they want with.
Right.
And again, people may not like it, but you could end the Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, and move forward with the rest of the characters in a whole new saga over the next 40 years. I mean,
they could.
It could be something, and I would be okay with that. I don't want Star Wars to end. I don't think it ever will, but I don't want it to end because people, if nothing else, it gets people talking. Whether you want to talk bad about it, whether you want to talk good about it, people have an opinion about it. And I'm okay with it. Like I said, I'm okay with everything that's gone on so far. I don't have a problem. I know a lot of people complain and chew up Star Wars recently. I think they've been great. You don't always get what you want, and I'm okay with that.
Right. I get it. But that being said, here's how I look at it. Your fan base is your fan base is your fan base. Mm-hmm. You can make your own mark on a movie. And I think that's what Rian Johnson was trying to do, to be honest with you. I think he was trying to make his own mark in the Star Wars saga, and I think he missed the mark. That's how I see it. But your fans are your fans, and you have to appease your fans. And you can do that and still bring surprises here and there. That's what I think they missed the mark in some cases with this, is you have to understand your fan base. And there may not be a more passionate fan base than the Star Wars fan base. Maybe Star Trek fans, because Trekkies are really, really, really into Star Trek. If you know any, I do. And they would be the exact same way if they messed up Star Trek. You just have that fan base that you've got to respect where we've gone. And I don't know that, at least, especially in 8, that they did that. But that's
and you talk about, but what is respecting the fan base? Is it, again, I'm okay with it not be going the way people want it to go. It's for me, I've made no secret. Episode 8 was my favorite of all of them so far. For me, the battle on the red salt planet there at the end with where Luke is standing there and it's the epitome with Kylo up there, and they're trying to, that was the greatest scene of all of them for me.
But he's not really there.
I know that.
He's
and that's
not really fighting him.
That's the best part about it.
No,
just the wow. For me, it was the best part about it. I love what they did. Now, I'm not saying Rian was a great director by any means. I'm not saying that at all. I thought the story was fantastic. I thought the way they did it was fantastic. The way they brought people back, Luke using the power in his force to portray himself somewhere where he's not for that battle. When you think this is the end of Luke Skywalker, he's going to die by getting shot, and then all of a sudden he walks out of him. Like, it was incredible for me. I have never been more wowed by Star Wars until that moment. And again, Episode 8 for me was the best. And I know I don't agree with people, or people don't agree with me. So where Brandy and Dave said, I'm with you, Steve. But to me, I've been fine with all the Star Wars. I love every one of them. I love the direction they've gone. I don't ever want it to end. I'm okay with a character's story comes to an end. Mm-hmm. But I don't want Star Wars to end. I think it's phenomenal. And, I don't care if people get mad that they didn't get what they want. So, and that's just my opinion on it. Mm-hmm. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's not right or wrong. Obviously, sure, there's a whole lot of people that wanted it the other way. But there's a whole bunch of people that are happy with the way it's gone so far, too.
Absolutely. Here's my problem with the scene on the salt fields, okay? With any fight scene, there has to be some sort of level of, oh, my God, he could lose.
Mm-hmm.
Until I found out that he really wasn't there, I agree with you. I thought, oh, my God, he's walking out there by himself. Luke's going to die. Then when we found out he wasn't really there, I'm like, what? He's not there. And then he dies alone. And then he dies alone.
Did he die, though?
Yes, he's dead. He's a Force ghost now. But then he killed Luke Skywalker alone. He dies alone on an island. Come on, man.
I think that story is still going to play out at the beginning of the next episode here coming up.
I hope so. If he would have really been there and really been fighting him, and the stakes were real, and he could have really died, then you're right. I'm with you. Oh, my God, what a great scene. But the fact that he's not there.
But until the very end, you thought he was, and you thought it was the greatest scene until you saw that he wasn't there.
But that's like, I agree. But that's like the Mandalorian. I mean, not the Mandalorian. That's like in Iron Man 3, the, what's his name? The Mandarin.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The whole time the Mandarin is this great. And that's my point is the letdown. You understand? It's like, really? And then you're going to let him die on the island by himself? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't look at that as a death. Maybe as a rebirth into a better for him to become part of the Force. I didn't look at that. I didn't look at it that way at all. And that's what I said. That's why this is so awesome because we differ on this obviously greatly, but we're both extremely passionate about it. We both believe that. I thought it was fantastic. It was the single greatest thing for me in all of Star Wars.
Well, look, it was Brandon Dave said he teleported to Endor. I read that on the internet. That's great. Yeah, see, and then Cyborg says, "Oh, when I saw that Luke, when it was a hologram, he was like, phew, Luke won't die, but he still dies." Exactly. Right. Again, that's my point. It was like, what?
And they're never. And they even say it again. They're never truly gone. And just because his physical body vanished doesn't mean he's gone. I mean, I think he becomes part of the Force. And I don't see that as a death. I see it as a rebirth into a greater thing for him.
Right. No, that's fine. And that's, you're right. He's not gone. He's a Force ghost and he'll be in the next movie. And that's great. And that's what's important to us. Well, for me, the older group that really love 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9 are fine. They're fine movies. Mm-hmm. When you go into movies for me, and that's why I try to temper my emotions and expectations, because with these, I'm expecting these movies to be, oh my God, fantastic. Well, again, I grew up with 4, 5, and 6. Those were my childhood memories. Those are the ones you love. You fall in love with certain things,
Jeff from Dole Whip Dad even said, and he gave his all, and that was the end of him. And that's what I think I fall along those lines. I think the guy sacrificed everything he had in him left to help that. And I think that's the sacrifice in that is what makes it special for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess that's why I like it so much. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. For me, you're right. He sacrifices everything. I mean, that's it. He gave it all. He gave it all up. He gave it up to ultimately allow them to escape. But you're right. I mean, up to that point when he's there, and it's like when he steps outside and Kylo says, "I want every gun to fire on that man now," and then they shoot him, and it's like, he's gonna die like that. And then he comes out of it, and I'm like, what? That's awesome. But it isn't really him. Oh my God.
That's the only part we differ on.
If it was really him. If he had done like some kind of force shield to hold it all back or something.
See, and I think that would have been more disappointing to me if he could block a million bullets at one time. But the way, I don't know. I was inspired by it. It was great for me. I think I would have been disappointed if he was there blocking, like you said, blocking it with a force bubble or something like Violet does in The Incredibles.
I guess. I don't know. That to me would have been the defining moment that Luke Skywalker is one with the Force. That he has become the ultimate Jedi, the most powerful to the point that he could do anything. And that would have been like, oh my God, he is here, man. That's all I'm saying. But then again, I love Luke Skywalker, and that's again, you're right. You expect certain things, but you don't get it.
And I grew up on the original movies too. I wasn't alive when the first one came out, or I don't think the second one. But from what I knew what TV was, I watched them, and there was still that, whatever it was, 20, 30-year gap between movies for me as well. So I mean, I fell in love with the originals like that too. But I don't know. I feel like the progression that we see from where Luke started out in episode 4 to where we get him in episode 7 and 8, and then that ultimate sacrifice, I think him doing what he did, the way the movie played out was totally more powerful than if he was there with, like I said, with a force field blocking bullets. I don't know, to be able to project yourself that far away in real time, to be able to do all that, and then just to throw that twist in there as a moviegoer to watch, I was floored by it. I thought in a good way. I thought it was great.
Okay, but see, here's the thing. This is what maybe I missed it. When Kylo is far away and he's talking to Rey far away, and she says, "Put your shirt on." Aren't they basically doing the same thing? Aren't they forcing themselves into that area for a certain period of time? So they could do what Luke did. They may not be able to do it for as long as he could do it, but to me, that's why they could do what he did.
But see, I also think that's also an attribute to how powerful the Force is within those two. I think they're going to be greater. They're going to have a greater force within them than Luke does it within him when it's all said and done. So I think their ability for them to do that as young as they are, and you got to remember, Luke, if I remember correctly, didn't Luke teach her that?
Yes, basically.
So, I mean, he's passing his knowledge on to her.
Oh, yeah.
And then with as powerful as I think it was important for them to show how powerful Kylo and Rey are going to be.
Yeah, I know. And you're right. It's just with nostalgia of movies, when you bring back the old characters, there's certain things people just want to see. And I think somebody says it in the chat. They said they were expecting Luke. No, they said, I wanted Han Solo and Luke to fight together again. I agree.
Yeah.
They never even see each other. He never even gets there's no reunion there. How do you do that? How do you not have a reunion after us waiting 30 years to see these characters? Yep. They don't get any screen time? Come on.
Yeah, and that is, I agree, that is disappointing and upsetting.
Yeah, that's all.
But at the same time, it does make you feel something, whether it be good or bad. It makes you feel something.
Yes. So, and it's got us talking about it.
It's got us talking about it.
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be positive.
No. And everybody, please don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars more than I love anything. They are my dream. They are my look. I got a Darth Vader behind me. There's a mug. I love Star Wars. I just we talk expectations and then reality, and sometimes expectations aren't met, and that's okay. It's just with your favorite movies, you hope for certain things. That's all. But I think this last movie, and I know we're coming up on the hour, Steve, I think there's a potential that this movie could be, I'm not saying it will be, could be the best. Even though we don't have some of the originals in there, if they found a way to let Harrison Ford cameo in this movie could ultimately come out to be the best of the 9. Could be. What are your thoughts?
Completely agree. But I also haven't had a problem with the rest of them. I think, like I said, I'm coming off of what I think 8 is the best of them all so far. But that's mainly because it includes the original characters, and they have a role in this story, and it's starting to wrap up how one generation passes on to the next generation. But I agree with you 100%. This with is it J.J. Abrams? He's the director, right?
Yep.
So J.J. Abrams at the helm, which is going to be incredible. Everything he touches is good, in my opinion. You got all these characters. Like they said, no one is truly gone. It wouldn't surprise me if we get almost all the main characters back that we've ever seen in some capacity. It could be flashbacks. It could be little Easter eggs hidden back to a thought or a memory. Sure. We got in Rogue One, we got Darth Vader back. We got the little scene where Leia is handing off to R2-D2. It could be cameos. They could bring people back. And they brought back Yoda when he was gone as a ghost, and things like that. So it does have potential in the realm to blow all of the rest of them out of the water. Depending on how well it's done.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing about J.J. Abrams. He understands the older audience, which is why I think he brought the Emperor back into this. Because to me, as one of the people that, grew up with Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, he's more pouty than he is scary, in my opinion. Darth Vader scared the crap out of me as a kid.
But as a thought to that too, though, and I agree with you, and I'm glad he's that way, because I think it's important. Again, I think that story for Kylo Ren, he's immature and he's adolescent. He's not there yet. And I think the whininess and that will develop his character, and going forward, that can be taken care of. But I think it's important to show his emotional instability right now. That's him also wrestling between light and dark.
Right. And I want to touch on something. More sunshine, please, says yes. But just because the story didn't turn out the way we wanted or expected doesn't mean it's a bad story.
Exactly.
But that's not true. It is a bad story because it didn't turn out the way we expected and wanted. That's the whole point. That's why we're upset.
But again,
you're not upset because you didn't expect.
I'm okay with the unpredictability, because if I knew what was going to happen in every movie, I wouldn't ever go see movies. I mean,
well, you don't know, but there's predictability, and then there's knowing what's going to happen. I mean, James Bond, James Bond's going to win in every movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still unpredictability in the movies. Then why go see a James Bond movie? You know he's going to win, but you go see him. So that word, we can't use it, the actual, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there is unpredictability, but there's still predictability. We know he's going to win, right? But there's certain parts of it that are unpredictable. So that's all.
No, I get that. When you're talking about something like that, if you know something's going to happen in the future, with James Bond is James Bond. So if you kill off James Bond, you obviously can't have another James Bond film. So that's a little different what we're talking about. We don't know where everybody's going with this in here. So the only thing that in James Bond is he's not going to die.
Right.
So
we know that he's not going to die, but we also know, but that's predictability. Mm-hmm. You know that in the end, there's no real danger here of him dying. Like when he gets in all these elaborate schemes where he's about to die with the lasers or the fish or the sharks, he's going to escape, but you still love it.
I guess there is a different level of unpredictability that I speak of when I'm talking about something like, if a storyline has to go that way, for that is based around one character. If he dies, it's over. It's done. Right. Unless they have his son come up and he's a new Bond or whatever case may be, something like that happens. But so he has to stay alive there. Right. This doesn't have to work that way. And if I knew what was going to happen, I would be less thrilled, I think, than not knowing. I love going to movies not knowing who's going to win.
Were you thrilled with Infinity War?
Infinity. Oh yes.
Did you know what was going to happen?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't know who was going to die.
He was going to win.
Well, he did, but it's not over yet. He hasn't won yet, and we don't know if the people are dead or alive, and we didn't know who was going to die and who was going to live.
Right. But we knew Thanos was going to win in this movie for Endgame. We just didn't know who was going to pay the price for him to win or how he was going to win. But we knew he was going to win. I mean, everybody knew that.
Well, and that turned out again.
Is he going to lose in Endgame?
I mean, I don't know the whole universe. I don't read all the comics and everything. I would assume so, but I don't know that.
Right. I'm just no, and we're just talking, everybody. But I love predictability with some unpredictability blended in. That's all. Surprises here and there are really fun. But in the end, certain parts of it that we love. But Star Wars is such a it brings up great conversations like this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody loves their characters. I guess the thing is, where do we go from here? It's going to be interesting how they end it. That's the thing I'm most interested in, is how they're going to end this. Mm-hmm. What are you most interested in, Steve?
I'm most interested in how they're going to end it, because I don't want Star Wars to end, and I don't want Star Wars to end with every character like we have it and start up a whole brand new standalone thing, because I don't know if it would work.
Okay.
Just span 40 years of time like we've done now. I'm okay with the Skywalker saga coming to end, and that could include an epic battle with Kylo Ren and Luke and Palpatine and all those others, and that, maybe they all sacrifice each other because of that. And then the rest of the characters, the torch has been passed on to them, and they carry on Star Wars within a whole new direction. And when this group of people get older, they could. I mean, the story could go forever and ever. I mean, it could be an ongoing thing. But I'm most interested in how they wrap it up for the future.
Right. Yeah, that's all. I love it. I mean, and Perfectly Cat, welcome in. I don't know if I said hi to you. I apologize. Welcome in. Glad you're here. Everybody, we're coming to the end. We're at the hour mark. I definitely appreciate everybody coming out. We're all excited for episode 9. That teaser trailer was fantastic. I can't wait for the actual trailer to come out. That's what's next, I'm sure.
Do you see Jim from More Sunshine? These are not the plot lines you're looking for.
Exactly right. Look, I know I'm an old fogey and I like what I like. Don't get me wrong. I know. But, you grow up with characters and you fall in love with these characters, and there's just certain things you expect from characters. And I expect Han Solo to die, but I don't expect him to die like that. Mm-hmm. I expect Luke Skywalker to die, but I expect him to die valiantly and have a giant funeral with everybody there. For crying out loud, they had a funeral for Padme. Yeah. You can't have a funeral for Luke Skywalker.
But at the same time, though, how more fitting could it have been that Han Solo died at the hands of his son when he was trying to bring him to the light side when he thought he could. I thought that was great, that helped Kylo's character progression. And at the same time, Luke still could have a huge funeral. That happened at the end of the movie when he gave everything. I mean, he sacrificed everything about himself to make the single greatest moment in Star Wars history. But he sacrificed everything he had. There's going to be a celebration of his life coming somewhere or another.
Well, I hope so. Oh, and the one thing in the trailer we didn't talk about that I thought was really cool, when they showed the medal.
They showed the what?
The medal. The award, the medal, the gold medal.
Oh, yeah.
That's from A New Hope.
Was it?
That's at the end of A New Hope, when Han, Luke, and Chewbacca are walking down for the ceremony at the end of A New Hope, and Leia puts the medals over their necks.
Oh, you're right.
That's the medal.
Yep.
That's a callback to the originals.
I'm not sure we talked about it, but the issue with Leia in here too. She's got to have a fitting farewell as well, and that was emotional seeing her and Rey hugging together too. So
absolutely. Well, I agree, and that's all I'm saying. Is these characters have been with us so long, and they mean so much to the Star Wars universe. You don't just toss them away. They have to be given fitting endings. That's all. I mean, like Marvel. Marvel's going to do that. Look, My favorite character in Marvel is Captain America.
Yep.
I know what's coming, but I think they're going to give him one hell of a send-off. Pardon my language. I really do. I know what's coming, but I think they're going to do it right. I don't think Star Wars did, and that's what just eats at my craw. I understand. You're right. Han dying the way he did was such a huge progression to Kylo's story. I get it. It's just, you know.
And I think you're still going to get that with the correct send off. That doesn't mean the good guys have to win to give them a great send off. But at the same time, I understand you want a feel good story at the end of the day, and that does generate a lot of popularity in the community, in the Star Wars community too. If they feel good about what happened, they're going to say, "Hey, I like this movie a lot better," as if they're mad that their favorite character died or something like that. I get that, but again, I like it when you can't tell what's going to happen. I just hope they do it well, no matter how they do it.
Yep, I agree. Somebody said Chewie's going to get his medal. That's true. He didn't get a medal. I still don't understand why he didn't get a medal. He was just as important. All right, everybody. Well, before we head out, I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope you enjoyed this talk. What a great teaser trailer. I can't wait for the actual extended trailer to come out. That's going to be exciting. I'm sure that'll give us more inclination as to what's going on. But Steve, if you want to plug your channel real fast and
yeah, we go live on Mondays now, about 4 weeks into it, 5 weeks into it now. So we're finishing up our song bracket on Monday. It's been 4 week long, 128 song bracket. If you would catch us over there. I also have we bought the new wave case of this Disney Tsum Tsums that they've been some of my more popular videos. We'll be posting that this week. And then we hit 500 subs again. So we will have a 500 sub giveaway. Watch for that week. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yay!
We've had I went to the Disney store, picked up some things. I also bought a set of ears. I had Cargo make special for me for this as well. And I got a couple other things, some pins that we're going to throw into a giveaway. So watch out for that video this week as well.
Great. Nice. Very nice. And of course, everybody, we appreciate everybody being in here. I don't know if I can get it to do it real fast, but if I can, I'm going to try and let, of course, everybody, don't forget, I didn't say it in the beginning, but Dean over at the Live Place, family-friendly live streams throughout the week. Steve's on there. We're on there. Meg's on there. Dan's on there. Chris, Disney World Adventures, is on there. There's so many other people, and I don't know if I missed anybody. I apologize if I did. Jeff, I don't know if I think Jeff might be on there too. I'm not sure if Jeff's in there, but be sure to check all these channels out. We have some great streamers that do a lot of great content, not just streams, but vlogs too, and other great stuff. Of course, Melissa and I, if you haven't already subbed to our channel or Steve's channel, please do so. We'd appreciate the support. I know Steve's over 500. We're real close to 1,300. We're like 9 away or something. Yeah. Something like that. And we definitely appreciate everybody coming out. I had a great time tonight, Steve. I hope you did, buddy.
Oh, I had an absolute blast. I could go on for hours about this. This is great.
Yeah, we had a great time, everybody. Everybody in the chat, thank you. There's so many of you. Explosive Phoenix, Lucky Minute, Amanda, Kay Atwood, Jeff Dole with Dad, More Sunshine Please, Chris, Disney World Adventures, Disney Nerd Herders, Brandy and Dave, Cyborg Man, Kay Atwood, Brian was in here. Geez, who else in there? AJC Magic TV. Oh my gosh, we had so many people in here, and I apologize if I missed you. Disney Nerd Herders, I don't know if I said that. Perfectly Cat. Just everybody. I appreciate you all being here. We had a good time with you tonight. I knew Meg was in here a little bit earlier as well. But thank you guys very much. Be sure to come back next Saturday. We will be back to Sports Talk unless some major trailer drops.
Keep in mind, at the end of every Sports Talk, we'll also have some hint of something extra.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. At the end of Sports Talk each and every Saturday, we'll throw some Disney in there as well. So we definitely do that. But thank you all very much for being here. We definitely appreciate you. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.